Hello and welcome to another C3 Stingray video. This is part 12 on my series on this 1979 Corvette that I bought for $1,500, and I've named the White Demon because anything that can go wrong will go wrong with this car. But today I put together a whole thing on the brakes. We're putting in a new power booster. We're going to be bench bleeding the master cylinder. We're putting brake lines in the front, brake lines in the back. I'm gravity bleeding the whole thing. Whole brake show. Actually, I shot this over a month ago and I'm just finally getting it together. If you haven't been watching my videos, you need to check out my other video on the 79 parts car I have that I just took off the fan shroud, the radiator, and the fan assembly. So you need to subscribe to the channel. There's always something coming up. So subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, notification button, but let's just get on with this one with the whole brake show on this part 12 of this series. I'll quit talking about brakes. I will stop, and let's just watch the video. Well, here's the brake booster that I want to replace. As you can see, it kind of looks kind of shoddy, and I have one off another car that I got, a parts car, and it was just with the car. It looked practically brand new, so I'm going to use that and put that on here instead. I'm going to take the lines off the master cylinders, a couple of 9/16. I'm using a line wrench to get those off, even though I'm going to be replacing all these brake lines in the front. Now we're going to need to get under the dash, and as you can see, the vent that should be here is already off of this car. And you can see it's cracked on the end. It must have just kind of fell off, but that just kind of pushes in place anyway. It's pretty easy to get out of there. It's just giving me a little more room to see. I'm going to take this plate off here right underneath the column also. Just 4 Phillips screws holding that on. And once again, it's just giving myself a little bit more visibility because I'm going to have to crawl under here to get to all this stuff. Now I'm getting the seat out of the way because once again, crawling in and out of here, it's kind of a pain in the butt with that seat in there. I mean, it can be done, but it's not easy. There's 4 half-inch bolts there. A couple of these bolts are really difficult to get out. I had to get a breaker bar to get them loose. But I do get them out. So you can see I move the seat all the way forward to get the ones in the back, and then move the seat all the way to the back to get the ones in the front. But once we get the seat out of the way, we'll have a lot more room to operate here because we're going to have to crawl all the way underneath that dash to get to that pin holding it to the brake pedal and the 4 nuts holding the power booster in. You can see I threw a towel down here. This carpet's kind of messy, and trying to make myself a comfortable little spot to lie down because here we go. And I wish I could give you better shots of this underneath the dash, but it's really kind of hard to do because you're upside down, twisted, laying on your back, trying to see stuff for yourself and see where to go. But as you can see, right back there is about the best shot I can get of that. That's coming out of the power booster and connecting to the brake pedal, and then those bolts, you can see a couple of them there. There's 4 of them all the way around that, and this is a shot of me trying to get that out. And here is the pin that came out of the brake pedal. It just slides in there. There's a little clip on the end you got to get off, and I just took a screwdriver and put it on the edge of that and twisted it, and it came out pretty easy. I was really surprised I got it out so easy. Now we have 4 9/16 nuts that we got to take off of that booster, and the best way to do it is I have this really long extension with a swivel on there at the end and a deep socket. It's really about the only way you can get to those. You're not going to reach up there and grab anything, so I'm trying to give you a shot of it taking it out, which isn't easy to do, but as you can see, there it is. The socket is on there right now. It's on one of them, and we're going to try to break this loose. And when I did, the extension popped out, but I did get it loose, and I just got to get that extension back in. And actually, I'm turning it by hand here, getting it out the rest of the way, and you're going to have to do this 3 more times after this one. So it's 4 times of getting in and out and trying to line it up and just getting them out, but that's what you got to do. Here's like a fast motion of each time I took each nut off. It's a pain, but as you can see, did get it out. Wasn't too bad. Now I'm comparing it to my other one that I'm going to put in I'm measuring how far out that bracket's away from the booster, because I'm going to try to match them up. It was like 6 1/4 inches, and I'm matching them up so they're both the same when I put it in. Here are the brake lines that I ordered. I actually got those on eBay. I buy a lot of stuff off eBay because the shipping is usually free, and it costs a lot to ship these large sizes. Right now we're on that block right up on the frame in the front where all the lines screw in. Your front, your back, and your master cylinder all screw into this block in the front. And we got to get all these off so we can replace all these lines. Actually, the only lines I did not replace was the ones going from the front to the back. But I replaced all the other lines in the front. You see a couple of these lines broke, and I just put a deep socket on there and got them out. I mean, it didn't matter. I'm replacing them anyway. So you can see those two new lines are sitting up there. Here I got the line off, and I'm trying to match it up, trying to see how it goes. And now I'm connecting it to that's the passenger side, connecting into that new rubber hose that I have there, and now I'm going to the driver's side and doing the same thing. I mean, it's pretty basic stuff. I mean, this is way easier for me because there's no engine in here. If you have an engine in here, it's going to be a much bigger job. And now I'm putting the little brackets that hold the line down. You know, I took those off and I took the old one off, and I'm just replacing them and putting them back in there to hold the line back where it should be. Now I'm taking the master cylinder off the power booster because we're going to need to bench bleed this. I don't remember what size that is. I'm sure if you freeze frame that you can see the wrench, but I'm sure they're all different anyway. But there's the two nuts holding that on. I'm going to take that off, put it in the vise. Now there's a kit you can buy to do this bench bleed. It's just a couple rubber hoses that screw into the master cylinder, and you put it into the brake fluid to bleed it. I do not have that kit, but I just took those lines off the car, so I just took those lines that I took off and bent them with a bender, and I'm going to screw those in. This works way better than the rubber hoses does, and I'll be able to reuse these, so it's nice having these now. So as you can see, they're all the way in there. Now I'm going to fill this with fluid. And now you're supposed to pump this. As you can see, I put the rod in there, and I used an extension with a little socket on there to hold that so I could push it smoothly and easily. And what you're doing is you're just pumping the air out of it. As you can see, the air coming out. Those lines have to be underneath the brake fluid, obviously. These metal lines worked really good for me. You just keep slowly pumping it until there's no more air coming out. Once the air quits coming out, you can take these hoses out, and these I just kind of bent them up a little bit, and then I'm putting plugs over the ends just to leave them on here so I don't lose any fluid. And now we got to reattach it to the power booster. Putting a cap on. I ended up buying a new cap for this because this one had a little bit of a leak to it. Now I'm just reassembling the power booster and the master cylinder. Put those two nuts back on, and it will be ready to be put back on the car. Now I'm going to have the joy of climbing back underneath that dash, try to get the nuts on those studs. So it's basically just shoving it back through the hole and lining up those studs with the holes. And you're probably going to have to prop up this to hold it up. It's going to want to tilt forward. You want to try to keep it as straight as you can. As you can see there, I already attached the lines master cylinder lines because it's easier to do when it's not bolted down, because you got a little bit of movement and you can kind of line them up a little better. And once you got those on there, you need to put something under there to kind of hold it up. I rigged up a little thing here. It's just stuff I had lying around, some pickle fork and a piece of cardboard or something there I put on there to just keep it straight while I'm trying to put the nuts on. And as you can see here, I have this flexible piece. I have a shallower socket, and this is the nut just sits right at the edge of that socket, so it'll be easier to get the nuts started. I'm going to get them started with this, and then I'll put them with the deep socket and the other extension. I'll drive them all the way in. As you can see here, you gotta get under there, line it up, and it's really nice with that extension that bends. I mean, you can't put any pressure on that. I mean, it's not a good thing for trying to tighten something down, but it's great for lining stuff up and getting it on there. Now I feel like I have it on far enough, then I'm going to switch out with this other extension and that deep socket and that little swivel, and then drive it on in with that impact. Needless to say, you're going to have to do this 4 times total to get all the nuts on. Plus you got to put that pin in, which I did not show that, but the pin going back into that brake pedal, which is a lot easier to put in than it is to take off, but neither one were too bad. So you can see here I made sure this master cylinder was full of brake fluid and put the cap back on, and I have a fluid extractor that has an accessory where you can bleed brakes, which normally works great. I love using this, but every time I've used it, the system's already been full. You know, I'm just trying to suck some of the air out. I've never done it where it's completely dry and I'm starting from scratch. And I thought it was the fault of this. It wasn't really working. But then after a while, I discovered the problem. When I went to the other side to try it, I found out that it was actually a leak still. The line I didn't replace going from one side to the other had a leak. You can see it here dripping. And it just had a crack in it, and I did not replace that line. I replaced all the other ones, so I had to stop and order a line for this back to put this on. So really the only line that isn't new on this car is the one going from the front to the back, which I guess I should have replaced it too, but I didn't. It seemed to be fine, so I left it. Trying to get this off was a pain in the butt. The line wrench didn't want to work, so I knew I was going to replace the line, so I just cut it and put a deep socket on it to get it off. It's way easier than trying to wrestle with this thing. I didn't even bother with the other side. I just cut it immediately and use the deep socket to get off, because it's way easier than trying to get that old ratty line off of there. And now I'm lining up the new one. Once again, I've been buying all these lines off eBay just because the shipping in a lot of the companies, they charge you a fortune for the shipping because the boxes are so big. And these come with free shipping, so it seems to be cheaper just getting them on eBay. One of the reasons why I don't bother trying to sell long stuff like this, long lines, and it's just too expensive to ship. The shipping rates are crazy anymore. But anyway, we're getting this connected, and this should solve the problem of not building up any pressure here. As you can see, I had a little trouble lining that up, and I ended up using a bender I have to kind of shape it a little bit to get it lined up. But I finally get it in there. And I didn't show, but there are a couple clamps that hold that down that I did put in, but I didn't show that. I'm filling the reservoir, and I'm going to do a different bleeding. This time I'm going to just do gravity bleeding. This is where you just simply open the bleeder valves and let it drip out. And you should have rubber hoses on here. I didn't put any hoses on here. I just put a pan underneath. I did the back wheels and then I did the front wheels. Some people do them one wheel at a time. It usually takes about 20 minutes or so for each one to drain completely. You got to make sure you keep watching the fluids though and refilling it. As you can see, that the back one is just for the back brakes, and then we got the front one goes for the front brakes. There's a lot of different opinions on how to do this, but like I said, I do them both at the same time. I do the back ones and then I do the front ones. I like the fluid extractor I have. That works great. I may bleed it again now that it's filled with fluid. I'm doing both front brakes now. You need to make sure you really watch the fluid in the reservoir. You can't let that run dry. You got to make sure you keep filling it. And it goes out really slow. It's not too big of a deal. I actually bled a lot longer than 20 minutes on the front and the back, because I was doing other things, and I just set it up and would come check it every so often and keep making sure that was full. But it worked out pretty well. Now I'm just going to put this new cap I got on and test those brakes, and guess what? The brakes are pumping up. I actually have brakes now where there was nothing before. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This wasn't too bad. It just took time because that back line was broke. I didn't know it. Had to order in one of those. And I don't know, I'm just glad this is all coming together. There's so many new parts on this car, but there's a lot more coming. The next video we should be starting this thing, and plus we got some electric headlights we got to put in, and we're going to be aligning it. And there's a lot of videos that are going to come out on this car still, but I'm really hoping that it's starting next time and we actually can move it, you know, drive it in and out of the garage at least. And plus I have the other 79's parts cars, so there'll be videos coming on that too. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Hit that like button and hit the notification button so you know when new videos come up. And if you need any new or used C3, C4, C5 Corvette parts, you can go to my website at c3stingray.com. And I guess that is it. I'll see you on the road.